What's happening, everybody? Bob from Crossing Broad here. We have the Eagles and Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. 2 3-3 teams coming into this one with first place on the line. Eagles thrashed a week ago by the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas comes in, losers of 3 straight games, embarrassed by the Jets a week ago. We will have a full betting preview for you in just a moment. Tell you what you need to know in terms of trends, injuries, where your money should go. But before we get into that, I want to let you know you can go to crossingbroad.com/FB. Download FoxBet if you're in the state of Pennsylvania. They will give you $20 when you open an account, and they will match your deposit up to $100. For those of you in the state of New Jersey, head to crossingbroad.com/DK. Get DraftKings, and they will match your first bet up to $200.
You can make it rain.
All right, first thing we want to do is take a look at the current odds in this game. We're filming midweek. Eagles are a 3-point underdog, plus 120 on the money line. Over-under set at 49, FoxBet PA giving us these odds. Now listen, I have a thesis going into this game, and my thesis is that Jason Garrett sucks. And I don't think too many people out there are going to argue with me. He is not a good football coach. We've gotten nearly a decade sample size of him being inept, and boy, do I have some trends that will back up that thesis ahead of this game. Jason Garrett is such a bad coach that he is 2-10 against the spread as a home favorite of 3 points or less, and only 3-9 straight up in such games. Jason Garrett is also so bad that he's 9-19-2 ATS overall when his team is favored by 3 points or less in any situation, and 3-6 against the spread against division opponents when favored by 3 points or less. And Jason Garrett is so bad that the Cowboys are 4-14-1 against the spread as a home favorite after a loss. Jets beat the Cowboys a week ago, so that applies here. And 1-7-1 against the spread in this spot since the start of the 2014 season. When I saw that, I had to do a double take. I could not believe how bad the Cowboys were in these spots. Now, if you're not convinced that Jason Garrett being a bad football coach is reason enough to bet against Dallas on Sunday night, 2 more things that I want to quickly point out to you. Let's go right here. Home division favorites of 3 points or less that are coming off of a loss when favored by 5 or more points. This goes all the way back to the 2003 season. It very rarely happens, but when it does, and keep in mind, Dallas was a 7-point favorite against the Jets last week and lost. They're 0-6-1 against the spread, and that's for all NFL teams. And finally, I know that I'm giving you a lot of information that tells you why you shouldn't bet on Dallas. Here's one that explains why you should bet on Philadelphia. Road underdogs of 3 points or less in division road games that are coming off of a loss, as the Eagles are. They lost to Minnesota a week ago. They're 58-39-7 against the spread. That is a very large sample size and a very, very strong cover rate. And that's why I like the Eagles. Also take into consideration that there are some injury concerns on both sides here. The Eagles could possibly be without left tackle Jason Peters. We don't know what's going on in the secondary with Ronald Darby, Jalen Mills. We have to kind of wait and see. And then we also need to check the status as the week progresses of wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. But the Eagles are not the only team with injury concerns ahead of this game. Dallas could be without left tackle Tyron Smith, right tackle La'el Collins, and we also don't know about the status of wide receiver Amari Cooper, who exited very early last week against the Jets. All right, as for the total, Sunday night game, primetime, 2 division rivals, I want to see some points. So I came into this process hoping to find a lot of data that would support a play on the over, especially when you consider that the over is 19-8 in Eagles road games coached by Doug Peterson and 8-2 in Eagles road games followed by a loss. But beyond that, the information that I found overwhelmingly points to a play on the under, and I'm going to give you 3 different points here to support that. The under is 28-15-1 in primetime division games that close with a total of 49 or more points, and 19-8 in primetime division games that close between 49 and 51 points. So we see it currently set at 49. If we take a smaller window, it's still very strong, and if we go 49 and over into the upper 50s and beyond, you still have very, very strong evidence that the under is the correct play in division primetime games. Now, next, Take a look at this. The under is 19, 10, and 1 in NFC East games when the total is set at 49 points or more, and 12, 5, and 1 when set between 49 and 51 points. Similar trend to what we just talked about, but this is now specifically for NFC East teams. And then finally, the under is 7-2 overall in games between the Eagles and Cowboys that has a closing total set at 49 points or more. It's 3-1 when the game's played in Dallas. And the under is also 31-22 in all Jason Garrett and Dak Prescott games. Okay, so now that being said, those are three big pieces of information that scream go under in this game. And finally, I like the under. You heard me before. I'm going against Dallas. I didn't like the Eagles last week. I didn't think it was a good spot for them, but this is a huge, huge game for both teams. I do believe that Carson Wentz is finally going to get some help from his receivers, from the rest of his offense, and he's going to have that game that some of the doubters have been waiting to see. And one final thought. Dallas has never won or covered in back-to-back seasons at home against the Eagles since Jason Garrett became head coach. The Eagles are 5-4 against the spread in Dallas, 6-3 straight up during that time frame. So that being said, I like the Eagles to win the game outright. I certainly like them to cover the spread, and I would take the under for Sunday Night Football. If you want more information on this football game, some of the other Week 7 action around the NFL and top college games of the weekend, head over to crossingbroad.com. Check out this full betting preview. Also, if you're in the state of Pennsylvania, like we said at the top, crossingbroad.com/FB, download FoxBet. They'll give you $20 for signing up, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. If you're in the state of New Jersey, crossingbroad.com/DK, download DraftKings, and they will match your first bet up to $200.